Clyde Property in Perth, award-winning letting and estate agents, proud sponsors of Saints TV.
Liam, how happy are you to be back at McDiarmid Park?
Delighted. You know, I played golf with Tommy in the summer, and you know, he was honest with me. He says, "Listen, the door's no shut on us coming in for you, but you're not a priority just now." And as long as the door wasn't shut, you know, I always had that, you know, the hope that I could come back here. And obviously coming in training the last 2 weeks is genuinely has been like I've never been away. A lot of the core of the squad's still here, and it's been great to get back in and play.
And did you have a lot to prove to Tommy when you came back into training?
I think I did. I think in terms of, you know, I know myself, and for the outside looking in, my reputation's probably took a hit over the last 18 months. But I know at 28-year-old I've still got a lot to offer, and I think I've proved that to Tommy and Callum, you know, and hopefully the players over the last 2 weeks that I'm ready to play again, and you know, I'm excited. I think the summer I've had in terms of, you know, it's been difficult, you know, trying to find a new club, a club that at 28 you want to go somewhere, it's going to be the right move, and I definitely think this is it. And you know, I want to get back to scoring goals for St Johnstone, and you know, I believe I can do that. You know, a lot of good players and good pros here, and you know, I played with most of them for the best part of 5-6 years. So, and like I say, they're good people, and you know, the families were close as well. So, listen, it was an easy decision to come back as soon as Tommy said, "Listen, I want you to come in." You know, I just wanted to get it done and get back to playing football, and I'm excited about the season ahead, and like I say, the quicker I can get myself into the starting 11 and, you know, repay the faith that the club's shown in me. You know, I've proved to Tommy over the last 2 weeks I've still got a lot to offer, and over the course of the summer I think I probably appreciate football even more now, because there was a stage when, you know, I thought if nothing happens in the next couple of weeks it could be time to start looking for a 9-to-5 job, and you know, people might laugh at that, but that's how serious and how close it came, because it was tough. I mean, fair play to Peter Houston at Falkirk and James Fowler at Queen of the South. They offered me training facilities, and you know, I went in and trained with Falkirk and for a few days, and it was great just to get back in amongst players and you know, playing football again. And you know, but the opportunity came back to train with St Johnstone. It was an easy decision, and you know, I'm ready to start playing again.
Just what you're talking about there, do you feel really fortunate now to be picked up by St Johnstone?
I do. Listen, I never take anything for granted, but you know, I didn't think I'd be at 28-year-old thinking about, you know, a different career. But it's something I would have had to have done if nothing had came up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So you know, I'm excited about, you know, coming back in full time and to a club where, you know, I know the club, I know what it takes to you know, to play in this team, and it's up to me now to go and prove to everyone that they were right to take me back.
And what would be your analysis of the last 2 years at Hibernian?
You know, when the opportunity came up to Hibs, I thought, you know, it's a great move, and listen, it was difficult at times, but I don't regret it. For, you know, I spoke to the chairman yesterday and I said that to him. I says, I don't regret going to Hibs at all. It was tough, and I think coming back to St Johnstone now, I probably came back mentally a lot stronger, and I do feel I've came back a better player. You know, a lot of great people at Hibs, and as much as relegation and that was a massive low, you know, I did have some good times there as well, and like I say, a lot of good people, and I wish them nothing but the best in the future, because they were good to me and my family, and it is a really good club.
And given the fact that Hibernian were relegated, do you feel you've got maybe a point to prove coming to St Johnstone?
No, regardless of that, I mean, the fact that Hibs have, last year I think, you know, after the initial start we had a decent season at Hibs, you know, and it's good to come back to a club now. You know, obviously Callum's one of my best mates in football. He knows what I'm about. Tommy knows what I was about. Obviously the assistant when I was last here. So I think it's good to come back to a club where I know how they work, and I want to play a big part in that. I want to continue the success that the club's had over the last 2 years, and you know, play my own part. And I had some great memories for the last time I was here, and you know, hoping to create some more now.
And you scored a vital goal in that last game that you played for St Johnstone to help St Johnstone clinch a European place. What have you made of St Johnstone in terms of the last 2 years since you've left the club?
No, I think I'm disappointed to see in you know, some bits last week the reaction to losing in Europe. I think for St Johnstone to be in Europe for 4 consecutive seasons, an established top 6 team now, win the Scottish Cup, it's incredible for the club, and that's why I am fortunate to come back to a club that's in a really good place, a really good management team and group of players, you know, and really excited about helping them build on that.
And what's it like when you left the club? Steve Lomas was manager. What's it like coming in now and Tommy Wright's the manager?
You know, Tommy, like I say, I've spoke to Tommy a lot over the last 2 years, and you know, I'm excited to work with him. Obviously, Steve carried the good work on that Derek McInnes had done at the club, and you know, Tommy's went and built on that again. And you know, I think it's important now that we get a good start to the season, you know, and have another really good season.
A few of the players have changed as well since you left the club. What do you make of the squad? How strong it is just now?
I think it's very strong. I think you know, that's what I need to do. I need to come in here and, you know, I need to try and establish myself in the starting 11, and I think that's a good thing with the squad. You're going to have to play well week in, week out to keep your place, because there's players in the squad that, you know, will take your place if you're not playing well, and that's only got to be healthy for the club. And I think that's a big thing for St Johnstone over the period of time I was here. And you look back over the last 2 years, it's been a squad that's got them the success, and if we're going to have a successful season again this year, it's going to be an effort from the whole squad again. And
what would be your targets for this season?
First of all, I just need to get myself in the starting 11. You know, go and enjoy playing football, enjoy scoring goals, and playing in a team that, you know, are wanting to be successful, and you know, I just want to play my part in that.
What's been your reaction to the support from the fans since you came back to St Johnstone? It's
been incredible. Listen, I had a great relationship with them when I was here. You know, had a lot of good messages from Hibs fans as well, I must say. But to come back and play in front of the St Johnstone fans again, you know, and play in the derbies against Dundee and everything that goes with it. You know, a lot of good memories for the last time I was here, and you know, I've came back to create new ones and be successful, and you know, show the fans that I've still got a lot to offer this club as well.
And do you feel like you've come home?
I do. I mean, that was probably the first thing when I came back in and trained. It was it genuinely was like I'd never been away. Like I say, a lot of the players were the same. And listen, it's a great group of players they've got here, and I'm delighted to be a part of it, and just want to kick on now and do well for the club.
Excellent. Perfect. That's good.